Hello guys. So the intention of this video is just to get a walkthrough or a small overview about API. Okay, what is API? We are going to learn, or we will be saying it with the real life scenario, real life example. Okay, so there are few keywords that I have actually written on the on the screen that you can see, and this would be like with the help of this we will be going to understand about API. Okay, so let us take one example. Okay, just consider like it's your mom. Okay, you are, and just say like there are few shops. Okay, few shops are there. So in the first scenario, just consider like your mom asked you like go and bring just consider like 1 kg of rice. Okay, so here your mom is actually making a request. Okay, so the side or the person who is actually making a request is called client. Okay, so here who is the client? Your mom is the client. Okay, someone who is making the request is called client, or you can say like who is looking for some service is called client. Okay, here your mom is client. Okay, and mom is looking for a service from a shop. So shop is nothing but a server which will provide you a service. Okay, here the shop is going to provide you some ration, or just say rice, and that's why like it is a service provider which is called server. Okay, now you are in between. Okay, so your work is like service done. So your task is like your mom will be asking you to go and check if the shop is having 1 kg of rice or not. So here in between like you are working as an API. Okay, so API is nothing. API is just a mediator in between of client and server. Okay, now since your mom asked you to go and check if the shop is open or not, or like this if the shop is having 1 kg of rice or not. Okay, so request is something like which the client will be making. Okay, now in this condition let's say like your mom asked you that go and check if the shop is having 1 kg of rice or not. You went to the shop. Okay, and you saw like the shop is open, and you asked the shopkeeper, and in response like shopkeeper, the server, like the shopkeeper said like okay, yes, we are having rice, and you gone to the shop, and in response, so basically your mom asked you for a request, you taken that request, and in response like the shopkeeper is giving you some response which is called response. Okay, and you went to your mom and said like yes, the shop is open, and it is also having 1 kg of rice. What does this mean? Like it is a request of get type. Okay, in which you are looking for some information. Okay, and you actually shared the response with your mom like yes, the shop is open, or like it is having a 1 kg of rice. So in that case, the API will be giving you 200 as a status code. Okay, why APIs are having different status code? It's just because like to differentiate between different kind of response that we are getting from the server. Okay, so if request is successful, if the request made by the client is basically successful, or you can say like if server have given you some response, in that case it is success, then it is 200. Okay, so 200 means like success. Okay, now say like you didn't know like which shop it is. Okay, and there are multiple shop, one shop, shop 2. Okay, you went to the shop 1 and you said like Bhaiya, are you having 1 kg of rice? And the shopkeeper said like no bro, like we are not having like rice. You can you go and check in some other shop? Okay, so shopkeeper 1 redirected you to shop 2. Okay, so this is basically a redirection. If any redirections happen, in that case you will be getting a 300 response code. Okay, redirection. Now just consider like okay, let me just take my example here. So just say like my mom, and we basically speak Hindi. Okay, my mom said something in Hindi, and I went to the shop. Okay, and I said shopkeeper, like just say like rice, okay, and the shopkeeper is not actually understanding my language, which basically just say Hindi or English, and the shopkeeper only knows some other language. In that case, what will happen is shopkeeper will say like, I'm not able to understand your request, I'm not able to understand like what you are saying or what do you want. In that case, it is basically a error from the client side. Why? Because server is only accepting a kind of a particular kind of data type or a language, but we are not but our request is not of that data type or that format. So if anything is happening or if any error is there from the client side, that is coming under 400 response code. Okay, so that is basically a client error. Okay, now let us go for the fourth example here. The fourth example here we will be taking is like your mom asked you to go and check, go and bring 1 kg of rice. Okay, you went to the shop, but you found that the shop is closed. Okay, you came to your mom, and what you will say, like, mom, the shop is closed. So at that time, what happened, like your risk and that your request was not fulfilled. Why? Because the shop was or the server was closed. So at that time, we will be getting a server error, and the response code will be the series of 500. Okay, so basically 200 series is for success, 300 series is for redirection, 400 is for client error, and 500 is for server error. Okay, now so now like we will see like what are the other things. Okay, so here you can see like client server request has been covered, response has been covered, and these keywords are covered. Okay, now we will talk about the methods. Okay, so like each and every API request will be having some methods. Okay, and in REST API, those are get, put, post, and delete. Okay, so get is basically like when you are looking for some information. Okay, so the example here is like when your mom asked you to go and check if the shop is open or not, you went, like you behave like an API, you went to the server and saw like, okay, the server is open. So basically like you are getting some information for your client. Okay, so that is actually covered in get. What about put? Okay, so let me just make you one thing clear. So put, you input is basically for update. Okay, so now just consider one example here is like you are having one particular grocery shop from where like you are going and getting your monthly grocery. Okay, and what happened was like you went, okay, you said here like I want 1 kg of rice. Okay, you asked the shopkeeper to make a note of this like under your name, like you will be going to pay it after the month end. Okay, and when you came back and your mom said like, no, like this is not the rice that I was looking for, go and change it with some other rice. You went and asked Bhaiya, like, Bhaiya, can you replace this? Okay, so what the shopkeeper will do, like it will, like they will basically replace your rice. Okay, and it is going to update, and shopkeeper is going to update his inventory, like the page where your name was there, and he will update like, okay, this rice has been replaced by this rice, or the amount they will be going to update. Okay, what about post? Post is basically like when you are going to create one new entry. Okay, so just take an example like when you went to the shop for 1 kg of rice. At that time, on that particular day, the shopkeeper will enter the detail of that rice that you have bought, like 1 kg rice, and with some amount he will update. Okay, what about delete? So delete is basically like just say like after the month end, what will happen, like you will be paying him amount like your monthly expense, and then he will close your close your last month budget or the expense. Okay, so at that time what is happening is like the shopkeeper have taken the information from you, he have taken the money from you, and now he is going to delete the previous month record. Did you get my point? Okay, so here are few more things that you should keep in mind. Is basically like every response or every API is having a characteristics, like it will be having a request, and each and every API will be giving you some response. Okay, the response would be of this series 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay, and it will also contain some other properties that we are going to cover in next video. Okay, So if you guys have any doubt, you can please ask me, just reach out to me and I will try to cover those things and answer your questions. So thank you. Let's meet in next video.